All right, what's up guys? I'm here back in Central Rock Gym, Cambridge. And today we're doing an episode that a lot of people have requested, the top 10 tips for hangboarding. And back with us, we have Troy.
Ready to learn some hangboarding?
So Troy, I have a lot of people asking me about hangboarding. They want to start hangboarding. They just got into climbing. Maybe they plateau. They want to get stronger. And I feel like people just think of hangboarding as the cure-all to getting stronger faster. What do you think?
So if you're thinking about hangboarding, keep in mind hangboarding is a very intense workout. You're isolating the fingers in your tendons, and if your fingers aren't ready for this type of workout, it's going to be very easy to injure yourself. Before you get into hangboarding, you should ideally have at least 2 years of consistent climbing experience. And you're going to see the most progression and benefits from hangboarding if you've hit a serious plateau. When you first start climbing, the best thing for you to do in your training is just to climb. Get used to being on the wall, improve your technique. Climbing regularly, climbing consistently, it's going to build your technique, it's going to build your grip strength, and it's the safest way to progress as a beginner. So ideally, you should have been climbing at least 2 years. Give yourself plenty of consistent climbing, and get your hands ready before you start hangboarding, before we're gonna put this pressure on them.
All right, so what's tip number 1?
All right, so the first thing you guys should need to know is pretty easy. Just like any time you get in the gym, any workout you do, we want to warm up. So I really like, before hangboarding, getting on the tread wall, running a few laps up there, just getting my body ready, getting everything warm, because we are going to be doing a pretty high intensity workout. Climb some easier climbs, do some stretching, making sure we're warming up our fingers, we're not climbing anything too hard, and as you're warming up, try and really activate your fingers. Grip the holds maybe a little bit harder than you would. We want to make sure that your tendons are ready to work. So a great thing to do when you're warming up or when you're cooling down, a great antagonist training is rice bucketing. Because as climbers, we're closing our hands, we're using that grip strength so often, the tendons that actually open your hands are left kind of untrained, and they're very susceptible to injury for that reason. We got a great video on rice bucketing. It's gonna be right here in the top right corner of the screen.
All right, so what's point number 2?
All right, so the second thing we wanna go over on the actual hangboard is the positioning you're gonna be using when you're holding on to the hangboard. So the two most common hand positions we have are open hand, where all your fingers are going to be hanging straight, and we have the half crimp, which is sort of like a chisel grip. Your fingers are going to be bent at 90 degrees. It's a little bit more of an active hang. Both these grips are totally fine to use, depending on what hold you're using. Usually for 4-finger edges, we're going to be using the half crimp. For slopers or for hangs that are any less than 4 fingers, I usually hang open-handed. We use these grips because they're a safer technique. We want to avoid full crimping when we're on the hangboard. And what I mean by full crimping is wrapping that thumb around the top of your fingers. What that's gonna do is that's gonna really load those fingers, and it's gonna put a ton of weight on your first couple of digits. And on the hangboard, that's very dangerous, because that repeated motion is where we can see injury. So when we're training especially, we want to make sure that we're using a half crimp or an open hand grip to avoid injury.
Okay, point number 3.
So we want to make sure that we're hanging with the correct body position. So you want to make sure that your center mass is directly beneath the board, directly underneath the holds that you're hanging onto. We want to avoid chicken winging, really arching our back, hyperextending your neck. If you feel like you need to compensate and bend your arms, lift your back, things like that to be able to hold on to the hold that you're using is too bad. You need to pick a better edge. Remember, the goal in this exercise is to isolate our fingers. So you should be able to hang nice and comfortably, arms slightly bent, back straight, butt down, and with your center of gravity directly beneath the hangboard.
All right, tip number 4.
So as a beginner, it's probably better to stick to 4-finger hangs with an open hand grip. Then as you get a little bit more advanced, your fingers start to get used to the hangboarding. We can move to the half crimp grip, which is a little more active, a little bit more engaged. And then as we, again, progress, this is going to take months But over time, as your fingers get used to the tension, we can start moving down to 3-finger hangs, 2-finger hangs, and even 1-finger hangs if you really are starting to notice weaknesses in certain fingers. So keep in mind, guys, 1 and 2-finger hangs is a much more advanced workout. Obviously, the less fingers you use when you're hanging, the more stress you're putting on those individual joints. If you're not 100% confident that this is something you can train and do safely, you shouldn't be trying these hangs. They're very easy to injure yourself if you're doing it incorrectly. So as a beginner, you want to stick to holds that you're comfortable with and stick with 4 fingers. So tip number 5, remembering that the tendons in your fingers are not going to build or strengthen the same way that your large muscle groups do. So the goal when you're hangboarding is not to feel totally destroyed or totally wrecked at the end of your session. You should really just feel like you're out gripped and you can no longer hang from those edges. But your fingers and your hands at the end of your workout should not feel totally destroyed. Keep in mind as well that hangboarding, a full hangboarding workout should be a substitute for climbing that day. When I come in and do my hangboarding workouts, I'll warm up for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then the hangboarding is my workout. I don't do any climbing or any limit bouldering before or after any of that. Injury is most common when people will climb for an hour or two and then they finish their session on the hangboard to try and wreck themselves or get in a last pump at the end of the session. This is very dangerous. If you're coming into hangboarding should be your main and only focus of the day. So when you're adding a hangboarding routine or a hangboard workout into your weekly routine, we want to keep in mind that we're still taking the same amount of rest days and that you're listening to your body. If you're someone who usually climbs multiple days in a row and you're used to that stress, you can add a hangboard workout into the mix. But if you're someone who likes to take a rest day in between each one of your sessions, you should continue that pattern. Whatever your current pattern is for your weekly climbing routine, adding a hangboard workout should not change any of that. All right, so for tips 6 and 7, we got the 2 main types of hangboarding exercises that you're gonna see people doing. Tip 6, we have our interval exercises. And tip 7, we're gonna be going over max effort exercises, and we're gonna go over some examples of each of those. So for tip 6, for the interval exercises, far and away the most common hangboarding exercise that I personally do, and I see a lot of people in the gym doing, are called repeaters. So repeaters is a workout where you'll select usually 6 different holds, and you're gonna hang each of those holds for, one individual set is going to be comprised of a 7-second hang, a 3-second rest, a 7-second hang, a 3-second rest. You're gonna repeat that process 6 times. Once you've done that, take a 2.5-minute break and then switch over to the next hold type. So if you're hanging a 4-finger half crimp, we're gonna go 7 seconds on, 3 seconds off, 7 seconds on, 3 seconds off on that same hold and repeat that process. And then rest for 2.5 minutes and then switch over to slopers or pockets or whatever the next hold in your workout is. And you can also do those at an interval of 10-second hang, 5-second rest. Those are the 2 most common intervals that I've seen and a great way to start as a beginner. So when you're choosing holds for your repeaters, you want to keep in mind that we're going to be doing 6 hangs on each of the different holds. So you should be picking grips that for the first 3, even 4 reps, it feels pretty easy, and you feel like you're failing on the hangs towards set 5 and set 6. If you cannot do the full 7-second or 10-second hang on your first 2 or 3 sets, you should choose a bigger hold. We want to get the full value out of this workout. We don't want to be constantly dropping off of the board. So pick a hold that's comfortable for you in the beginning and gradually gets harder as the sets progress. So another great interval exercise I like to do are what I call deadlifts. So we have some pinch blocks in the gym. We also have kind of this little edge that kind of rotates on the dial. And what you can do is you can clip weights to either the edge, it's in the pinch blocks, or to whatever you're choosing to work out. And you're going to lift that just as if you were deadlifting, except we're going to be doing it a little more finger intensive. So I'll do a 10-second hold on my right hand, followed by a 10-second hold on my left hand, followed by a 30-second rest in between, and then I'm going to repeat that process about 5 or 6 times. So this is great for isolating one arm. A lot of climbers will have kind of an uneven strength distribution between your right and your left arm. And when you're hanging with 2 arms, it's easy to overcompensate and let one side of your body take over a little bit more without even realizing it. So these deadlifts are a great way to isolate one side of your body and making sure that each side of your body is getting an equal workout. So keep in mind the interval exercises if you're first starting hangboarding. This interval training on bigger, more comfortable holds is going to be a great way to get into hangboarding. Get your fingers used to this type of training. The max effort hangs that I'm going to discuss in just a second are a little bit more advanced. So if you're a beginner, stick to the interval training. So the next major hangboard workout we're going to talk about is max effort exercises. Max hangs, you can do them on small edges in crimps or bad slopers. You can do them on pockets. This is where we can really push ourselves. So you want to select a hold that you can hang on to for about 5 to 10 seconds, and you should be struggling with this hold on the very first hang. The goal is that you can only hang on to this hold for so long, so we're going to give it our max effort for about 7 or 8 seconds, drop, and then we're going to give it a 2-minute rest in between each individual hang. And we're going to repeat that about 5, 6, or 7 times, depending on your experience level and depending on what you're trying to get out of it. So another great max effort exercise are one arm assisted hangs. So learning to hang with one arm, like I said earlier with the deadlifts, is a good way to make sure that both sides of your body are getting equal treatment. One arm hangs are a lot more difficult. So with the one arm hangs, I like to take weight off because I can't hang my body weight off of this edge with just one arm. So we have pulley systems in here that allow you to take off weight and slowly work your way down to be able to hang body weight. Hanging one arm is also great for a lot of the stabilization muscles in your lats and in your back that are going to be kind of exploited without giving the additional stabilization of your other arm. So for the one arm hang, similar to the deadlifts, I will do a 10-second hang on my right hand and a 10-second hang on my left hand. This time around, since it's going to be a lot more weight, we're going to be giving it a little bit more of a rest than we would with the deadlift. So I'm going to do 1.5 minutes of rest in between each set, and I'm going to repeat that 5 times. So again, keep in mind these max effort exercises are a little bit more advanced. You want to make sure you're experienced enough to be able to safely choose an edge that you are struggling with on the first set and you're going to be seeing progression with, but it's also not too small of an edge that you're going to leave yourself prone to injury. So you want to make sure that you have enough hangboard experience, talk to people in the gym, and listen to your body before you start doing these max effort hangs. So eventually, after a couple of months of doing the same hangboard workout, your workout's gonna start to feel easy. You are gonna start to see gains in your fingers and tendons, and that's great. That's why we're hangboarding. And there's a couple of steps that you can take from there when your workout starts to feel a little bit too easy or a little bit too casual. We're gonna add weight. So we're gonna hang the same holds because that's what our fingers are used to. We don't wanna push our fingers and tendons too much. Remember, hangboarding is a gradual process. We're going to see improvements over a longer period of time. I like to just start with 5 pounds and do your normal interval or max effort hangs from there. You can up that weight, 5 pounds, 10 pounds. Once you get to about 20 pounds and you feel like you can hang that edge confidently with an additional 20 pounds attached to you, at that point we can unclip the weight and go down to a smaller hold. Is easy to injure yourself on the hangboard if you're not careful. So again, keep in mind, we're not doctors. You always want to consult a medical professional first and make sure that you're cleared. If you have a finger injury, make sure that you're cleared to use that finger again and your doctor feels comfortable. All right, so for tip 10, I figure we'll go around the gym, show you guys each of the hangboards that we have. I'll share the differences with you guys and go over what each of the hangboards is good to use for. So the first hangboard we got here, this is the Beastmaker 1000. This is a great hangboard for entry level and beginners because we got the jugs up top, we got some really deep slots, and some really comfortable rounded edges. The wood that these hangboards is made for is great on your skin. It's not going to cut your skin up, tear your skin up, so you can train on these hangboards and not have to worry about shredding your fingertips. All right, so the next hangboard we got, this is the Beastmaker 2000. So this is very similar to the 1000. You get the same benefits of a wooden hangboard. This is a little bit more of an advanced hangboard. As you can see, we got some smaller edges here. We got the one finger pockets. We have some pretty bad slopers up top. I really like to use this hangboard for the slopers mainly. And this is the hangboard that I do the majority of my workout on. We got a great arm edge here for the one arm assisted hangs, if that's what you're into. And the 2 and 3 finger pockets here are great training if you are starting to feel like the 4 finger hangs are getting easy. You want to isolate certain fingers as you get more advanced. This is a great hangboard to use. All right, so the next hangboard we got up here, this is the Tension Grindstone Pro. Great benefit to this hangboard is that all the edges are labeled, so you can actually see how deep each of these holds are, so you can track your progression that way. And another great use for this is it has a nifty phone holder up top, so you can see your timer right up there without actually having to, look down. You can get your timer right up there on the hangboard. That's a nice little feature of this board. All right, so the next board we got, this is the Eva Lopez Transgression board. This is a great board to use for those max effort, max hangs that I was talking about earlier. All these edges are labeled. The most common workout you'll be doing on this board are the half crimp max hangs, or you can do half crimp repeaters as well. So the last 2 hangboards we have in here, these are the Trango Rock Prodigies. So these hangboards, again, have a great assortment of different kinds of holds. We got some 3 finger pockets here, some edges up here. This blue hangboard that we have here on this side is a little bit more beginner friendly. We have the jugs, we have some deeper slots. I really like this hangboard for the pinch feature that it has here. You can really engage your thumb. So if you're looking to train pinches, this is a great board to get on. The other Trango Prodigy board that we have, this is very similar to the board we just went over. This one, however, is a little bit more advanced. As you can see, we got a really tiny crimp right here. We got some pretty slopey 2 finger pockets, some really bad slopers up top. And again, we got those nice pinch features if you're looking to train pinches.
All right, Troy, thanks so much, man. This was so helpful. I hope you guys liked this video. Please like and comment below if you want more videos like this. Troy, thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.
And we'll catch you later.
Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
See ya.
See ya.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Oh, this is a 2-take thing.
Yeah.